Click those tongs.
Here we go. Here we go. There we go, guys. Welcome back to the show, Rockin' the Grill, show number 6, huh, Jimbo?
It's good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in a week.
Yeah, we're not talking about Nikki 6. It's show number 6.
That's right.
I know, but we're going to be seeing a lot of each other here shortly. We're going to a show, so
yes,
we're going to do a show from the show. So y'all stay tuned. It's going to be an interesting one.
Trade shows are fun.
They are a lot of fun. we're gonna have a lot of fun, and we're gonna cut up. But we're there to do some business, and we're gonna talk about that we're gonna do the podcast. We're gonna have some fun with that too, man.
And what are we talking about this week? Why am I plugged in electric this week?
You are loaded, guns loaded, bruh. Yeah. So it was my turn to pick, and I don't know how this wasn't our first show. I really don't. But I mean, when I was coming up as a kid and introduced to rock and roll as we now know it, 80s rock, 70s rock, one of the first bands I fell in love with was Van Halen.
Oh,
Eddie, yeah, man. I mean,
I'm no Eddie.
Yeah, what a great talented group that just they started in 1978. The name Van Halen came from Eddie and Alex's last name, and before that I think they were called like the Broken Hair Pickers or something.
They were called Mammoth at one point.
Mammoth. They had a bunch of names, but
which I know is how Wolfgang ended up using Mammoth, with his new project.
Gotcha. Yeah, and they hit the scene. When I Googled, I said some of Van Halen's top songs on Google, and it came up. One site had 50 songs.
Man, they've had a career.
And I went down the list, and I was like, "Man, that's a great song. Man, that's a great song. Man, that's a great song."
Even the songs they covered. That's all I'll do for Van Halen.
Well, before we get into it too long, let's give them a little taste for those youngsters out there who maybe not as knowledgeable about rock and roll.
I can't imagine.
This was one of my favorites because it just epitomized the rebel in me, and going to school and having some of them substitute teachers or them student teachers that were really young. I thought they were like in their 50s and they were probably in their 20s, just about 5 years older than me. So let's give this a shot. This is one of my favorite songs by this group. This is the best part.
Wait a second, man. What do you think the teacher's going to look like this here?
Don't you? Yeah.
This whole show, I could listen to that whole song. But
I know the videos back in that day was classic. All the 80s Van Halen videos.
he made that little. He made that little guitar.
Yeah.
What did he call his guitar? It was homemade. Frankenstein or
the Frankenstrat.
Frankenstrat. That's it.
Yeah. And I've got actually one of my bass guitars I play quite regularly is homemade. I call it the LSU Franken bass because it's that pattern with the purple and gold colors.
I remember when you were working on it. You stripped that thing totally down, repainted it, put all new pickups and all that stuff. You really brought that thing back to life.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I'm playing it in the intro of this podcast. That little clip of me on stage has that guitar.
That's awesome, bro.
So yeah, I'm a fan.
So yeah, I mean, so let's get into some of the other songs that I'll let you go first because that was my one of my top songs. What other songs were iconic when you were growing up?
Well, I always loved their cover of what was I just playing? You really got me. Jeez.
You really?
Yeah, you really got me. Anything off the first album, classic. And then only in later years did I really start to appreciate the Sammy Hagar albums. Mm-hmm. So Pound Cake, Judgment Day, great songs. On Top of the World, Standing on Top of the World. The whole 5150 album, again, just you listen to it now, and it really was a whole different band when Sammy came in. And there are two camps. There are people that love Dave and people that love Sammy. I love them. I love it both. I love it all.
Yeah, they were both at their own little shtick,
Yep, but that's not the norm. You're going to usually find people that will fight you over one singer or the other.
It's kind of like the Chicago Cubs or the White Sox. You can't stand them both. You gotta pick one or the other.
Yeah, Dodgers or Angels.
So what you said that song that album 5150. Yeah. So that I was doing a little recon on that, and you know where that comes from?
I believe it was a police code.
It's a police code. You know what it means? When
I forget.
50.
I forget. Was it like insanity or?
Yeah, something like that. Crazy.
Yeah, legally insane.
Crazy man in the house, bro.
Yep. See if I remember this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Best of Both Worlds. Go something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, that first album. I mean, what a great album. I mean, you had Running with the Devil, which you just played. You Really Got Me. Ain't Talking About Love. Jamie's Crying, and that's when he came out with Eruption. Yeah, and I think when they first put it on the album, it was just a guitar solo, and then they later named it Eruption.
Yeah.
But again, doing research, this is interesting. I kind of like doing this podcast because I don't like to come unprepared. So I do my little research. Did you know that their first person that cut their little demo album or demo tape? It was three songs, and you know who financed it?
Gene Simmons.
Yes, yeah. And he played it for a couple of record labels, and nobody really bit. And there was a couple of people in L.A. It says here, even Kiss's manager, Bill Aucoin. Can you believe that he had a Cajun? He had a Cajun manager.
Well, the rest of the country pronounced it
Aucoin.
A coin. Yeah, I had to think about it. I've been living out here too long that I forgot how to say it.
Well, when I saw it on Wikipedia, that's Aucoin, ball. So yeah, Bill Aucoin, but Marshall Barrow and Kim Fowley, they booked them at the Whiskey A Go Go, and there were two people that were there: Mo Ostin and Ted Templeman.
Yeah, Mo Ostin, the head of Warner Music.
At Warner Brothers, and they signed them, and their debut album cost them $54,000 to make. And you know how much that album generated in revenue?
I would have no idea, but I would venture to guess it sold in 100 million.
309469091.
My Bose speaker's talking to me.
Is someone else? Is someone on the podcast?
Somebody's trying to call in.
909.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. We're good. I'm gonna turn it off. So yeah, it says to date. So from when it came out to date, 15,575,000 for just that one album.
Just
Now,
the one album.
That's from the record sales.
Right.
And then you look back on Wikipedia, and from the 80s to present, their stadium tours that they've done, they've generated nearly $325 million.
I can believe that. I can believe that. Yeah. It's funny. I was actually going to ask you, do you know who produced their first demo? But that's funny that came up. Is it? You'll be hard pressed to get me on any Kiss trivia.
Yeah, let's see if there's anything else I'm missing. Yeah, they sold 1.6 million tickets worldwide.
Wow, yeah.
For their concerts.
Yeah. I'm glad I got to see them. You know, I've seen Sammy's solo. I've seen Dave solo. I did get to see Van Halen. It was with Wolfie playing bass, but I'm still counting it.
Yeah.
And I've seen Michael Anthony playing with Sammy, but I never saw the original 4 guys from Van Halen, play together, which...
Well, I've seen them both. I've seen them with David Lee Roth, and I've seen them with Sammy. I don't remember who their backup band was. I know they were the headline, and it was probably in Biloxi or New Orleans or something like that I saw them.
Yeah.
But, I was fortunate enough to watch. I mean, just a great act. I mean, Eddie Van Halen, God rest his soul, he's no longer with us, but left a legacy of not only talent and songs, but the techniques of how people copy him now, even today.
Yeah.
And his guitar prowess, if they say.
Really a true innovator. I mean, you got, Hendrix, Page, Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, I'll put in that category, even though he didn't have a very long recording career. But there's not a lot of... Yes, Stevie Ray. There's not a lot of guys you can put in that box of true guitar innovator.
Right.
Eddie was definitely one of them. And we could go on and on about this forever.
Right.
There's so much to talk about. We might have to do a part 2, Van.
Part 2. Yeah, because look, we're already at 13 minutes. We haven't even talked about the recipe yet.
Yeah.
We're talking about featuring today. So
let's talk about that, because this is something much like the grilled oysters that we did a couple of shows ago. Well, unlike that, I've actually seen you make this recipe coming up. And I'm going to be really paying attention, because I really need to start making this at some of my cookouts and everything. But tell us what you got for us this week.
All right. Well, this is the most asked for Cajun dish that I create. Now, you can do it in your kitchen, but it's so much more fun when you do it on a grill, whether it's charcoal, gas, whatever. It's called Crawfish Maque Choux. And people say, well, how do you spell it and what does it mean? And it doesn't matter. But as my daddy told me, Maque Choux was the Cajuns when they migrated and found their way into southern Louisiana. It was inhabited heavily by the Indians. And so the Cajuns shared their cooking techniques with the Indians, and the Indians, because they were so big into corn, this was one of the dishes that they learned how to cook from the Indians that they made friends with and broke bread with. So Maque Choux, I don't know I know it's French. I don't know exactly what it means, but you would spell it like don't mock me, M-A, but it's not like that. It's not M-O-C-K, it's M-A-Q-U-E, and choux, not S-U-S-H-O-U or S-H-O-E. It's C-H-O-U-X.
Of course it is.
And when you order this is what I tell people. Like when we're up there in Seattle, I was telling them, when you order this in a restaurant, I don't care if it's in Louisiana, but even if it's outside Louisiana, it's going to come to you on your plate as a side dish. Like you order green beans or baked beans or whatever, you order Maque Choux, and it's normally going to come in a dry form, what I call a dry form, meaning that it's just going to be corn, onion, bell pepper, maybe a little bit of tomatoes like rotel, and rarely do they put crawfish in it. But my dad's best friend, I grew up calling him Uncle Howard. He wasn't my uncle, but he was my uncle, and he taught me how to hunt, just like my dad did. He taught me how to fish. And Uncle Howard at the Festival International in Lafayette, Louisiana, in a pot that was probably 150 gallons that we were cooking and serving all the entertainers from all around the world. He showed me step by step how to do this crawfish maque choux. And it's real simple. It's on our website. You can go to extracajun.com. That's extra with no E, XTRA, Cajun.com. And go to the recipes. You'll see it on there, crawfish maque choux. But it's basically 7 ingredients. It's very simple. It's almost like cooking a brisket or doing ribs or like your bacon wrap donut holes. I mean, it's a steps of procedure. It's a methodology, if you will.
Yeah.
And you just kind of build in that flavor profile. But the first thing you're going to start off with is whole kernel corn. Now, if you want to be a purist and you want to go get some corn on the cob and smoke it on the grill, then cut it off the cob. You can be fancy. I do the cans. Just drain it as much water as you can out of it. And the secret is 3 to 1. So it's 3 whole kernel corn to 1 cream style corn. So if you're doing a big pot, you may want to do 6 and 2, and you can play with that. You can do 6 and 3. I mean, but somewhere 3 to 1 is somewhere in there. And what you start off with is in a hot cast iron pot on the grill. Get the fire hot, get the pot hot, and put your little butter. You can put bacon grease if you want. You can put butter, olive oil, whatever you want, some kind of fat, and you want to just enough to cover the bottom of the pot, not a lot. You're not like deep fat frying the corn. You just sauteing it, and you dump the corn in there, and a lot of the water is going to cook out of that whole kernel corn. And you want to leave the lid off the pot. You want to keep stirring it like you're making a roux. You don't want to walk away. You want the sugar to cook out, and you want the steam to evaporate out of the pot. And you want to start what they call frying the corn. Once all the water's out of the pot, you're going to start hearing it crackle. And you're going to smell it. And when it starts to smell like popcorn, you're very close. And the color you're looking at on that whole kernel corn is you want like a light brown, kind of browning effect on that corn. And you're going to notice that it use a wooden spoon if you're in a cast iron pot. But you're going to notice if you look at the spoon, on the tip of the spoon, you're going to have some sort of like black residue. We call that the crud. It's the sugar that's caramelizing and coming out the bottom of the pot. But don't freak out. That's not burning stuff. That's going to be part of the flavor profile. And then after you get to that point, you add in your onion and bell pepper mix. And you know, the ingredients are on the website. But you add in your vegetables, you saute that down, then you add in cubed tasso. And I was amazed in Seattle. Not one person, when I mentioned the word tasso, knew what I meant by that. I had to explain, what's tasso? And all tasso is they use the Boston butt. They cut it off the bone. They leave it into like little sizes, you know, little flats, and they smoke it. And so it's pre-cooked, it's cured. It has a smoky flavor. It's a little seasoned. They have a little bit of seasoning on it, but you cut it lengthwise and then come back and cut it into little cubes, and you throw that in the pot. And then you let that heat sweat down all the fat off of that. And then once that's all nice and sauteed down, then you come back with your liquid ingredients. So far we got 3 ingredients, right? Whole kernel corn, tasso, and vegetables. Then you're going to come in with your cream style corn, dump that in, stir that around. Then you're going to come back with heavy whipping cream. There's no dietary type of low fat, heavy whipping cream. Just suck it up, buttercup. I mean, that's what makes it so damn good. Okay.
Yeah.
And you add enough cream in there to where it floats all your vegetables and all your proteins. It's just you don't want it soupy. It's going to be watery because there's a lot of water in the cream. And this is where it gets important. You leave the lid off the pot, you bring it up to a boil, and then you simmer it down and you keep stirring it. and you'll see the steam bubbling, steaming out. It's just going to be bubbling, and you want it to reduce down about half. You want the gravy to like stick to the spoon and not just like run off the spoon. So it's not a chowder like a soup. It's more like it's almost like a thick gravy, And then at the very end, and then after that, you season it to taste. Of course, you're going to want to use extra Cajun right there. And a selfish plug right there.
Always.
Yeah. But it's got everything in there that you need. The flavor is going to be perfect. And you just keep adding it, and you stir it, and you taste it, and you keep adding it, and you stir it, and you taste it. And when you get to the right flavor, that you the right heat, the right salt, whatever, then you come in and you add your crawfish tails. Now, don't put no offense to Chinese, don't put no Chinese crawfish tails. Look for the stamp certified Cajun or certified Louisiana. That means it came from Louisiana. Our crawfish are better. They taste better, and they're pre-cooked. So that's why you want to add it at the end, because all you're going to do is just heat it up. After that, you can almost like turn your fire off, because your pot's going to retain the heat. Excuse me. The cream is going to be like molten lava, and you just stir it in and let it just steep for a little while and serve it. And let me tell you, it's just one of those dishes, and you saw it firsthand, Jim.
Yeah, this was it stole the show. When we did a cooking event in Seattle, it stole the show. And even people that the further you get away from Louisiana, the more people shy away from good food. And they, every one of them, oh, I don't know, crawfish. Oh, I don't like crawfish. Well, where have you had crawfish before? I was in New Orleans and I had crawfish in October. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, there was this one. I mean, most people were kind of adventurous, and they were willing to try it. And once they tried it, they all love it. I mean, I've never had one person, and I've been doing this dish for a long time. Yeah. I've cooked it and served it to literally hundreds of thousands of people. I've never had one person say this is horrible.
Right.
There was one woman though that was it was towards the end of the day, and she was kind of like with a couple of guys, and they walked up on us, and you opened the lid, or somebody opened the lid, and she goes, "What's in there?" And you see all the corn and stuff. And we said, "That's crawfish maque choux." Oh, crawfish.
Yeah. And she kept saying, "I don't eat fish. I don't eat fish." And it's like,
it's not fish. It's crawfish, couillon. I said, "You eat lobster?" "Oh, I love lobster." Well, if you love lobster, you're gonna love crawfish even better, because it's like tender lobster. It's like bite-sized lobsters.
It took her some convincing, but she finally tried it.
When she put that in her mouth, did you see her eyes roll back in her head?
Oh yeah. She
was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah. I love doing cooking events, and the two cities I think I get the best reaction are Seattle and Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
There's something about those cities. They kind of shy away from it, and I bring stuff from Louisiana anytime I can, and it's usually gator fillet or boudin or something. Yeah. And they always want to shy away from it, or they don't want to try. And once they do, they're like, "Oh wow!" And then the conversation starts. Where do you get this kind of thing? Where do you live? Where are you from? Brought it from home.
And a lot of people, and that again, talking a little bit about the seasoning again. That's why we came out with this, my wife and I. I mean, how many times I've heard, "Oh, I can't eat that." And I say, I immediately go to, allergies. They can't have shellfish. I say, "Oh, you're allergic to crawfish?" And they're like, "Oh, no, I can have. It's Cajun food's too peppered for me, too seasoned,
too spicy."
I'm like, "I don't know what you've been eating, sweetheart, but that's not Cajun food." Make sure you go back to that restaurant and tell them change the name, because Cajun food shouldn't be so spicy that you can't enjoy the food.
It's marketing. It's bad marketing.
It's more about the flavor, and you hear that enough. And I'm me, I'm a prideful Cajun, and you hear that enough. I mean, I got Guidry, Champagne, and Landry in me, and a little bit of Conley. I got a little Irish. That's where my little temper comes from. But you hear that enough, and I take that very personal. And I'm like, man, people are just missing the boat. They're misrepresenting our culture.
Yeah.
They're causing all these falsehoods out there, misinterpretations of what Cajun food is.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, I've had it. I got to come out with my own seasoning. So when you use extra Cajun, if you like your food salty, you're going to have to add salt to your dishes. Yeah. If you like your food peppery, even though ours has 4 different peppers, you're going to have to probably add some cayenne or something else to it. I mean, you can add enough extra Cajun to where you'll probably be satisfied, but you'll probably use half the bottle. So, so just know this: our food, our seasoning, when you cook it into food, it's kid friendly. My granddaughter, who's 9 months, she eats all the barbecue I cook, all the gumbo I cook, all the rice and gravy, and I use it in everything we cook. She eats it and with a smile on her face. I mean, she doesn't push back. She doesn't give you all them expressions. It's kid friendly, and it's what they call that. Everybody's freaking out on. Oh, gluten free.
Oh yeah.
It's gluten free, and there's no fillers in there. There's no MSG. It's just really good. You got to try it. Go to our website. We got a store locator. Put in your zip code. If there's nobody near you, go to our website, order it. You can go to Amazon, order it from there. Shipping's included. If you order it on our website, you got to pay a little shipping, but just give it a go. Try it out. Yep.
It's making its way around the country slow but sure. Yeah, that is one of the things. Yeah, exactly. You know, I take it on all my cooking demos, you know, whether I'm with part of the team or just by myself, and that's my go-to seasoning now. And I get that same thing everywhere I go. Oh, I don't know, might be too spicy.
What it looks like.
Yeah. And they always say,
don't let all that red fool you.
Right.
How much cayenne you got in there? It's paprika, guys. It has some cayenne, but it's mainly paprika.
I hear it all the time. Oh, it's spicy, it's spicy. I go, no, look, spicy Cajun is somehow marketed that way, and it's, you know, we have our fair share of bad marketers.
Well, I mean, at the back, I mean, Emeril Lagasse, I mean, he's a marketing genius, and he's a hell of a cook. He's a chef. He's world renowned. But you know, even his little signature, whatever, he throws it in there. Kick it up a notch, you know.
Yeah.
You don't have to kick it up if the flavor's right.
It's there. And extra Cajun, it does have even a little bit of sweetness on the backside. I use it on my bacon wrap donut holes. I use it on veggies. I use it on eggs. Like, it goes on anything.
Yeah.
But
when we do shows and somebody just wants to try it, it's awesome. Get a block of cream cheese and those little bagel chips. And you sprinkle some on top of the cream cheese and let people dip it. Oh my God, it's incredible.
There you go.
So, well, we got to wrap this up. Any parting thoughts or any licks you want to throw my way on your guitar?
I'm not going to even pretend to be an Eddie Van Halen, but that's all I got.
Yeah, I don't know if they invented guitar solos in the middle of songs, but they perfected it.
They sure did.
And their intros, just like that. I mean, between Alex, you know, him coming in with his guitar licks. I mean, they just knew how to balance.
That's it.
Look, guys, appreciate y'all watching the show. We hope you enjoyed this segment of Rockin' the Grill, and we're going to be bringing you another one from Louisville, Kentucky. Probably post that one on Monday. We missed a week because I was on the road, Jim was on the road, so it was a little hard to do the other show. So this one we're probably going to post on tomorrow, Friday, and then the other one we're going to post maybe on Monday or Tuesday, and we'll get it back on track, guys. So look, y'all,
we'll get caught up.
Yeah, we're going to catch up, and y'all, we appreciate y'all, and let us know what y'all think. Share with all your friends, and let's get it to Spotify and Apple Podcasts like that.
And I think we should do a Van Halen part 2 in the future.
I think we need to. There's too much to talk about.
There's too much history there.
All right, brother. You be good, and we'll see y'all on the flip side.
Punched out and I'm headed home. The grill is calling and it's time to roam. Classic rock on the menu tonight. Ribeye and shrimp, the perfect bite. Rockin' the grill, been waiting all day. Smoking fire, they say I'm on brulee. It's time to rock my mysterious grill. Click those tongs.